Welcome, everybody. Welcome to My Child, My Voice Parent Connection Show. I am Wendy Gonzalez-Neal.
And I am Shea Mackin.
And today's Monday, September 14th. September's almost over.
Yep, we're halfway through. But this week, I am super excited. So the organization that I work with in parent advocacy normally does a face-to-face conference every summer for only really like 100 parents to help them learn about policy and learn how to be better advocates for their kids and all that kind of stuff. And this year, first time ever, we are doing it online. You know, there's some blessings, I guess, with COVID. And we have some movers and shakers, some people who really make a difference in the options of education realm. And this conference is free for parents across the country and the world. And I mean, conferences like this normally cost like $800, right, Wendy?
Yeah,
like that.
Not cheap. This time you can watch it in your comfort of your own home.
That's right. It's awesome. And really understand, okay, what does that mean? Education options and policy and advocacy, and what does that mean? And how can I help or just understand it better? So I am super excited that we're offering it. So we figured we'd chat about who these people are. Not everybody, because we can't talk about everybody who's speaking.
Well, I mean, we have talked about some of these leaders who are fighting for education options around our nation, but today we're going to talk more about them who are also appearing in the conference, just to kind of get you an idea. So when you sign up for the conference, you know who they are and why they're doing the work that they're doing.
Yeah.
And I think this is just an awesome opportunity to families to register for a free virtual event. They can watch it, you know, at any time at their convenience. But they also get to learn what's going on in our nation. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not just state-based. It's totally, we're talking nationwide with a few things about on the state level, but and it's not for, well, you have to be like a lobbyist, right? Or somebody who works for a governor. No, this is the Parent Leadership Conference. This is for parents just like you, to help you understand, hopefully, some changes that are going to come about in education for the better for students across the country, and how you can help create changes for your child in education.
And then too, I mean, this is how I got started. This is where, as a parent, I wanted to learn more about what's going on, not around just locally in my city or my state, but around our nation, that it will affect, you know, us. And these are the type of conferences that I used to attend to, or I still do. I can't say used to. I still attend these conferences to learn. You know, the key thing that I always tell everyone is keep educating yourself. And these conferences will help you, you know, get more educated. You don't have to have a college degree to know what they're talking about. It's just simple information for you good to know and to bring back to your community, and just talk about what you heard about. And then this is how you get everybody engaged with you. You know, this is a great opportunity. Yeah. And I'm excited we're talking about it.
Me too. All right. So I'm going to share my screen. Here we go. Got a whole PowerPoint with pictures and everything for y'all. And I'm going to keep it in kind of, you know, setup mode, just so that I make sure I'm on the right thing and I don't click off. So I make sure everybody has the correct information. So this is what we're talking about, the Parent Leadership Conference. And again, this is for everyday moms and dads, or anyone interested in education around the country.
And it's hosted by the National Coalition for Public School Options.
Yeah, which is a parent advocacy group. We're all parents. We're moms and dads and grandmas and grandpas that are looking for options within education. And so this conference is coming up. It is, I'm going to try and make this big, so that y'all, oh, well, there you go. There's the Parent Leadership Conference. So this is why I kept it in the other mode. Okay, here it is. So you might have to move your little person around on the screen, but so this is, again, a free conference, where normally something of this caliber, you would spend at least $800, something like that, to go to. And this is about options in education, about education policy, and about parents, just like you and me, advocacy. And it happens this week, this Wednesday and Thursday, September
Mhm.
16th through the 17th, from noon to 5 Eastern time. Now, the really cool thing is normally for any conference, you kind of have to go and be there in person for a couple days. You have to get in a plane, get in a car, wherever conferences, Colorado, DC, California. This, you sit in your pajamas. And once you've registered, you don't, if you're working or your kid is distance learning or you're an online parent of an online student, whatever it is, you're not available between noon and 5 Eastern time. Once you're registered, and the things air, then there you can access them at any time. So you can go on, after your kids go to bed, you can sit there and play it during, you're making dinner or whatever, and see what's going on. So there is the link, and we're going to put that in the chat as well, so that you can click on PLC 2020, Vest Live. I don't know what Vest Live means, but that's the link. And again, you can watch the content anytime after it airs. So super exciting. All right. I'm going to show you the first, one of the first people we're going to talk about. We're going to show you about 50% of who these speakers are, just because I know, and Wendy and I were talking about this, when we first got into education and the kind of understanding who these people are that are.
Who's the who?
Who's the who? Yeah. We didn't know who these people were because they didn't live next to me. They weren't in my family.
They weren't in my neighborhood. They weren't in my community. They didn't live in my city or my state. So I was like, who are they? And some did live in the state, but we're like, wait, who are you again?
Yes. Who are you and what do you do? And
right.
why should I listen to what you say? So this is Jeannie Allen. She's with the Center of Education Reform. Nice lady there. So I'll stop sharing. And maybe. There we go. So Jeannie Allen, she is the founder and CEO of Education Reform. And that is a huge organization that's been doing a lot of really good things for many, many years. She's considered one of the nation's most accomplished and relentless advocates for education reform. Mm-hmm. She's a recognized expert because of it, right? Mm-hmm. And she's a speaker and author within this field of education reform. And so she started the Center for Education Reform in 1993. Y'all, I was still in high school. So she's been doing this a little while. And she's, talking about innovation for our kids and our teachers and our schools, and freedom for our students and our parents and our teachers and our schools to be creative and be innovative. Flexibility, parent power, hallelujah, sing it from the rooftops, parent power, for all schools in the U.S. So
that is awesome. These are our champions. I love hearing, especially about Miss Allen and these others that we're going to learn that we're going to be talking about today.
Well, and I love, once it's easier for me too when I kind of, that's who that is, when I'm hearing them talk. I'm like, okay, I already feel inspired by what they're saying, but what is the kind of, where are they anchored and what is their foundation, right? Where are they at? And so she even wrote a book in 1995, so the year we got married, Wendy.
I was like, wait a minute, we got married, or you mean you got married?
No, the book, yeah. Not to each other. That's we happen to not to our husbands, yes. We just happen to have been married on the same year. That's funny. So she wrote the School Reform Handbook back 25 years ago, y'all, to help improve your schools. This organization is not just about, having all kids flee public education and go somewhere else. This is about advocating and understanding and having policy be to where the parent has the power and more knowledge and understanding, and that there's innovation where you can go to a place that works for your individual child. That's really what it's about. And then she wrote another publication, Education Reform, Before It Was Cool, because she's been doing a long time.
Before it was cool?
Yeah, Before It Was Cool. I thought that was a cool title. for her thing. So that's Jeannie Allen, founder of Center for Education Reform. She's speaking, one of the first speakers on Wednesday. And then, all right, let's see if I can keep bopping back and forth. I'm going to share my screen again. All right, here we go. Share. Okay, I'm sharing my screen. That's Jeannie Allen again. All right, our next person Wendy's going to talk about is, come on, click. There we go.
Corey Deangelis, which is the director of School Choice for the Reason Foundation. He is our school choice champion. I have to say, a lot of parents who have met him, they're like, we are so excited that he's on our side. Because
Yes.
boy, does he put a argument. I'm telling you, he puts an argument about, you know, school choice. He's about us. He's about families. I mean, just to kind of give you a little bit of background about him, he's also the adjacent scholar for the Cato Institute and executive director for the Educational Freedom Institute. But he advocates about education choice. He's constantly on it. I mean, I even heard President Trump quote a lot of his sayings because what he's been doing on a daily basis, and I'm talking 24/7. He fights for charter schools, homeschools, virtual schools, choice programs. This is, you know, and then he has his own, he's a co-host to a podcast with Bob Bowden with Choice Media called Random Assignment. I had to think about it for a minute. I was like, But he also has written and co-authored like over like 40 articles and reports on education policy. He is great when it comes to that. I mean, his research is so in depth. I mean, I even gone to him personally, like, hey, I need some data on this. And boom, he's there to, you know, help me with that data. He's helped a lot of these parent-ran organizations when we're trying to fight for, you know, choice for our kids. He's there right next to us fighting. He's come out with several different types of, like I was saying, reports. And then he's also backed like bills to help, you know, for families like us to have more choices. Like the money should follow the child. That's the one thing that he always says, the money should follow the child. Corey is, you could say, I also call him like the guru of data.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you need a certain thing, like in a certain area, like I was asking about Texas and about choice options, I was able to go to him. And now there's a lot of other nonprofits and organizations that can give you this data, but Corey is one that I actually met through Ed Choice, and we're going to talk about that later, where I had the pleasure of meeting him there, where I was so like enthused by his knowledge and how he can just remember all of this data, right? And I'm talking like lots of data. I feel like his mind is a computer.
Well, and his energy is infectious. Absolutely. Yeah. In person, and whether it's, you know, on Twitter. If you don't follow him on Twitter, he's a great one to follow on Twitter and on Facebook and his podcasts and all of that. He's everywhere. He's everywhere. But that's a good thing. That's a good thing, getting out the voice of hey, let's give more parents or power to the parents. So
you should really follow him. Like a lot of times I tell parents, you know, like, how do you hear about all of this, or how do you know all this information? He's what I call an influencer. He's one that I follow a lot. I listen to what he's saying. I read all of his reports. But I mean, he gave a great example. It was a quote that he said, if Walmart stays closed, you can take your money elsewhere, right? But if a public school doesn't reopen, you should similarly be able to take your children's education dollars with you.
Right.
I mean, that type of quote, when he says that, you're like, that is so true, you know, and why aren't we doing this? You know, so this is the reason why he's so powerful when he does, you know, when he talks and he says this, because he's challenging a lot of these leaders that are making these decisions for us and saying, hey, no, you know, you need to really listen to parents like us, you know, that want choice, and we shouldn't take away those options. And this is what I love about him. And like I mentioned, he had, I don't know if he introduced a bill that he was writing, which is called School. I don't know if you've heard that one, which is the support children having open opportunities for learning. They're trying to push this one, that a bill's options for families. I mean, I think it's really important for us to follow this and then talk to our legislators, and that's one thing that he always tells us to do. But other than that, I mean, Corey received his PhD in education policy at the University of Arkansas. He holds a bachelor's degree in business and administration and a master's in arts from the University of Texas, San Antonio.
Yeah. His sister still lives there.
And then he also has co-written a book that's called School Choice Myth. It's about to be released in October of this year. So I can't wait to read that one. But I do encourage everybody to really check out, or follow Corey on social media, whether it be, he's everywhere, like we mentioned, Twitter, he's on Facebook, he has his own podcast. Really listen to what he is talking about. He's fighting for us. So he's a great speaker. I would love to hear what he's going to have to say. So Shea, do you know what his topic is going to be for the conference?
Let me see. What is Corey specifically? Corey talks about all sorts of stuff. So
he does.
What are you talking about for that?
So he could be talking about policy. Oh, I'm sorry. My allergies are going crazy. If you see me, like, if I'm crying, I'm not crying. It's my allergies.
You're not crying. Corey is education disruption and innovation during COVID-19. So he is an influencer and a disruptor for sure.
A big disruptor. So
status quo and
can't wait to hear him.
What kids need. Awesome. All right. Our next person that we're going to talk about, though. So there's Corey again. That's his cute little face. I can say that I'm a lot older than him. Ian Kingsbury, he's the Empire Center for Public Policy. So Ian Kingsbury, that's what he looks like. He's going to speak to us. And Ian, I'll get my notes. So Ian, he received his PhD for University of Arkansas. So come on, they must have been, really talking about, being at University of Arkansas. I've noticed a lot of influencers have come out of University of Arkansas. They must be really kind of changing things up and having people look outside the box, which I love.
That's awesome.
And he also studied education policy before joining the Empire Center. He was a postdoctoral fellow at Johns Hopkins University. So smart guy. And he writes great articles. His articles are amazing, about equity and education, which I love, and about education spending. Where are our dollars, because they belong to you and me, where are they going and how are they being spent equitably? So he will be really cool to learn about. I'm going to share my screen again and pop back. So that's Ian Kingsbury. All right, and then we're going to have state panels. Different states are going to have different times. And since we're from Texas, I'm going to talk a little bit about the Texas panel. And it is about parent power. It really is in our state and how important it will be. In Texas, we only have legislative session every other year instead of like every other state does every year. We're only every other year. And now is the time for parents to be heard. And so that is what we're talking about some things that parents can make a big difference in and how they can do that. As well as states like Florida, Oregon, Pennsylvania, and I think Michigan are all talking, because those are all, not that the other states, their education policy is not important, but these are some really hot button states as to what is going on in those states and needing some key change.
And so this is really important to watch, I would say, for parents, because as we live in Texas, we're barely learning about what's going on here. But, for me as a parent, when I started learning about all of these other states, they're doing more than what Texas is doing, I was like, wait, what? So this is an opportunity to find out what other states are doing and then compare to our state. So this would be a great session to watch.
Yeah. And because you can bring that change to our state, or if some policy gets in the way of choice for your child in California or in Arizona or another state, sometimes that rolls over to other states. And so not so much the opening of options is not a fast roll, but the closing of options.
Right.
Absolutely. If one state closes a type of option or a way of education, that then kind of the other states hear about it and go, oh, well, maybe we should close that. And so it's good to know what's going on in other states. All right. And then Wendy's going to talk about our beautiful, talented, and lovely
Miss Virginia Walden Ford. I think she is America's leading advocate for parent empowerment. I mean, I have to say, if some of you haven't seen the movie Miss Virginia, you need to go rent it out. It's actually on Netflix.
Yep. Netflix, Amazon, it's all over.
It's everywhere. And she's written several books. I think the one that's really helped me out with, the work that I do here in Houston is Voices, Choices, and Second Chances. It has been my Bible, and I can show that in a few minutes. But she is native of Arkansas. She founded the DC Parents School Choice back in 1998. She's a warrior in education reform, like we had mentioned, but her most important job is she's a mom. She's now a grandmother as well. But when she started this work, it started with her son. So, I mean, this kind of gives you an idea. This is how we all start. We started advocating for our kids, and that's exactly what she was doing. And then started advocating for her kids in the community. And not only that here's the book that I want to show. This is my favorite book. It is my Bible. And then, of course, she's written also the other book that we mentioned, School Choice. She recently published this one out recently. So this is a book about her, more or less about her life story. It's actually a really good school choice, how she started out in the beginning as in her childhood, what she had to. And I didn't really know about her background with her father. So it's really interesting. I'm not going to give away the book.
It is, but I cried.
Yes. It's
Very
and not only that, I mean, not only she serves on several boards she's a board of director on Ed Choice, Arkansas Connections Academy, if nobody knows it.
Yes.
Grace Christian Academy in Little Rock. And then she also has her own foundation. So she is a powerful mama. That's what I said. She's powerful mama. Look her up, Virginia Walden Ford, and check her out on the conference. If you register, you get to watch her in action.
Yep. And check out her books and her movie for sure, so that you kind of understand a little bit more about who this amazing mama is. All right, Wendy, you ready to talk about your next speaker? So, love you, Miss Ford.
Yes, Miss Virginia. The next one is Dr. Howard Fuller. Oh my goodness, he is awesome. How do I even start there? This is so.
I don't know.
It's a list. I mean, I don't know if he's watching this, but he's history itself. How do I say this? He's a life changer. I mean, he from civil rights activist to education reform activist. I mean, how do I stop there? But also he's the most humblest person I've ever met. I've had the pleasure to work side by side with him. And he's done so much. I mean, he thinks about everyone else, and he is a game changer. He's also a warrior. He cares deeply about the quest for liberation. As I mentioned, he shook up. I think when I first read about him, actually my father's the one that was telling me about him when I was younger, about his community organizing in Durham, North Carolina. As the Operation Breakthrough. He was a co-founder of the Malcolm X Liberation University in 1969. My dad told me a lot about him on the civil rights movement. My dad really did enjoy telling me the history. As I said, he's history. But
and he's not. I mean, but he laid so much groundwork.
Yeah.
For just thousands and thousands of kids to be able to, like, when I say groundwork, I mean like literally taking out the brick, the mortar, and laying out the path for kids for a better life and a better education. Wonderful man.
I mean, he's started the Black Alliance for Educational Option, which is BAO. He actually co-founded the Milwaukee Colgate Academy. And I mean, he fights for change. I met him here last year in 2019, back in September, when we had a rally here in Houston to save our charter schools. And this is where I had the pleasure of actually protesting side by side next to him. And we were part of a coalition called the Freedom Coalition of Charter Schools. And we were at the Democratic presidential debate. And I got to really have some really good conversations with him. He's one that educated all of us and make sure how, this is how you fight. We were there fighting. It was hot that day.
You're in Houston.
And we were all, they're looking at me funny with an umbrella. And I said, you need an umbrella because we're going to be out in the heat. And I have my fan and they're looking at me and I'm like, I'm from the South. We're going to protest, but I'm going to keep y'all cool the best way I can. But that's where I said he was the most humblest person I met. He's a fighter. He kept us engaged. I mean, I felt so empowered standing next to him. So I am going to get excited to see him at the conference. What is he going to be talking about on the conference?
He actually is going to be receiving an award from our organization, the National Coalition for Public School Options. So that's what he's doing there, is we're going to give him an award from parents across the country saying, thank you.
Thank you for all the work you've done. I would be right there next to him saying the same thing. And check him out. He also has a podcast with Dr. Charles Cole, Howard University.
Yes, Dr. Cole's awesome too. We love it.
I know, he is. You're going to tell us about somebody else exciting.
I know. Okay, check it out, y'all. So if you're a football follower, you know who Tim Tebow is. Tim Tebow is a sports superstar. He's also a homeschool advocate, which is pretty cool. So we've been working actually with the National Coalition for Public School Options for a couple of years to get Tim Tebow at our parent leadership conference. And we succeeded this year, so we're super excited. He is being interviewed about his experiences with choice and parent power. And so he is a former homeschooler himself. Mm-hmm. Pretty cool. He's a long time advocate for homeschooling. In his early years, Tim and his siblings worked on his parents' farm and attended classes taught by his parents on the farm. The biggest ways that you overcome fear and doubt are with love and with purpose. This is from Tim Tebow. We did homeschooling because my parents wanted to instill love in us and purpose in our lives. Pretty powerful. And then he had obstacles, though, that he had to overcome in his homeschooling journey. He struggled with dyslexia as a child, and which made him think that he would never be able to read a book with ease. It just was such a struggle. However, he never stopped challenging himself and read more frequently to improve his skills, and eventually became a 3-time New York Times best-selling author himself. Pretty amazing for a homeschooled kid. If you're going to judge somebody by that, then look towards Tim Tebow and see what homeschoolers can do.
See, there you go. I bet you a lot of people didn't know that about Tim Tebow. Like,
right.
What?
He has dyslexia, right?
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that.
Pretty amazing. And so thanks to his parents, he knows the unwavering commitment that they had for him. Mm-hmm. And, he was the first homeschooler to win the Heisman Trophy, which is pretty amazing. I bet he won't be the last.
Right.
So that is Tim Tebow. We're excited to have him, speaking to our parents and helping to light the fire of advocacy and parent power in our parents. All right, here's our next one. So here's Tim Tebow again. His cuteness also, very cute man. All right. Love this guy, Wendy.
Yes.
One of my favorite
The
people
book.
in the world. Oh, wait. No, me too. I've got his book. All right. You can talk then.
The school choice roadmap.
Am I talking about Andrew or are you talking about Andrew?
You're talking about Andrew.
Oh, that's funny. I had you down for talking about Andrew.
I was like,
This is
here's
me.
his book. Can you tell that we're both so excited that we forget who's doing what?
It's
We
Andrew.
know about him.
We both just love Andrew Campana. He is the president of National School Choice Week and the author of the School Choice Roadmap, which obviously both of us own. And we have talked about National School Choice Week a lot on our show because it is such a great resource. And with Andrew at the helm, they have been unstoppable in helping parents across the country.
Exactly.
Yay, Andrew. Oh, I have it marked, but it's me talking. I'm looking at my notes now. So, National School Choice Week is the largest public awareness effort for K through 12 education. And it's not just about options outside of public school. It's not that. It is all options for education and celebrating the fact that your kid is in a school that works for them. Hallelujah. And so their goal is to inform parents of their school options. Andrew and his team, they work with more than 25,000 schools annually. So every year, and usually they do like a 1 week big
in January
national celebration in January. Right. And
National
it's like in
School Choice
person and all the states and on the Capitol building, and you wear your yellow scarf. I didn't bring my yellow scarf. It's over there. I can see my yellow scarf, Andrew, but it's still like 95 degrees here today, so I'm not wearing it.
Well, if
but
you really look behind me, I have my National
you've got it.
mug.
Awesome. And so this year they are doing a virtual event and virtual events in January. And when we are closer to that, I'm sure we will talk about that. And his book that he just came out with not that long ago, what a perfect timing for, a school choice roadmap to help its seventh.
Yeah, I mean,
finding the right school for your child. Now's the time. If whatever is not working for you, now really is the time to look at the educational options.
Yeah, I was lucky. I got his autograph.
Yeah.
But two, I want to tell parents, when I first started doing all this and I was advocating for my kids, I didn't know who National School Choice Week was. I just noticed that my school was, involved in the celebration because my youngest went to a public charter school and they pushed that a lot and I learned more about it. But to be honest, this is where I learned more because this is where she was saying the awareness, but they also have so many tools and resources on their website that gives you so much information. And now it's even more now with this COVID cooties.
They've really
so
stepped
much
up
more.
Yeah.
Even open seats. I was actually surprised with that. I was like, wait, what? And it's like, wow, it's a one-stop shop. And then you can download activities. And then if you're searching for schools, they'll tell you by state. So if I'm in Texas, you click on Texas on their map. It'll tell you everything about Texas in general, to where knowing what our options are for our kids. So it's a really good and a great resource to have and to put on your, tool site to say, yes, I need to bookmark this because it is really good. And Andrew has led really great. I had the pleasure of meeting him as well. And he's doing an awesome job.
Yeah.
Especially his videos. You got to catch his videos.
Well, and he's on CNN, C-SPAN, Fox, Fox Business, Fox News. He's he's been in the Washington Post, the New York Times, the Houston Chronicle, the Orlando Sentinel, the Philadelphia. He's been in everything, y'all, because he knows what he's talking about. And he really is about the parents and the individual kids and understands how parents really do know their students and helping. He's also there. That's what I love about them, helping the schools to be innovative and look at education in a different way. So Thank you, Andrew.
And two, estás buscando, you know, información en español, National School Choice Week has it all in Spanish. That I'm so excited about, that they've now been doing a lot of translation on a lot of their resources. So check it out.
I think they're one of the leading for education, advocacy, education option information. They have the most in Spanish, for sure. So thank you, Andrew.
And National School Choice.
And yes, the National School Choice Week. All right. Our next organization is awesome. And Wendy, you worked for them.
Yes, I did. I had the pleasure to work with actually Ed Choice. They are another great resource to have on, you know, as a bookmark for you. Ed Choice is leading when it comes to data. And when I say data, I'm going to show you some books. You know, I'm talking about all kinds, and all of this is free. These are free information. You ask for it and it's mailed to you at your doorstep.
Yes. I think I have a pile like this big.
Exactly.
Of data, just information from Ed Choice. They're awesome.
I mean, it was formerly called the Friedman Foundation for Educational Choice. They're leading all of this information. I'm going to share you real quick some other data really quick before I start, you know, going. Let me see. Can I share?
You should be able to.
I think it's not letting me share.
I
Hold on.
stopped sharing.
There it goes. My computer likes to mess with me. Like, it says, no, we're going to work for you. Yes, we're going to work for you. Let me get. And you can see here, this is Ed Choice website. It's edchoice.org. And I'm on their information where it talks about schooling, like here, just to name a few of their data information. Schooling in America, COVID-19, K-12 education. I mean, look at these dates. These are recent. So these are all information that you can either download or you can request to have it sent to you if you're not.
And you can search just by your state. And they
Yes.
are, I mean, they have employees and people working really hard to make sure that organizations and parents have up-to-date information on how our money is being spent. I mean, so I just pulled out fiscal effects of school vouchers. So how school vouchers affect, and they researched how it was affecting the states they were in, right? And then how it would affect across the country. And this one is, you know, surveying state legislators. What are state legislators saying about different options within
Exactly. I mean, because they believe that families, not bureaucrats, are the best equipped to make K-12 schooling decisions for their children. That's what they believe in. And it's awesome to hear them say that they believe that. And this is the reason why they give you all of these data information for you to read about, to educate yourself. But not only that, I mean, it's not like, okay, here's the data. They also help you with training. You know, they bring people together. I have to say, you know, I actually met Corey Deangelis at an Ed Choice event where we were doing training. And this is what I'm saying. They bring people together. They equip them with high quality research. They show you how to do things. They give you data analysis. They bring in policy experts. They even show you how to do message strategies, you know, through the resources and training. I mean, and all of this is free. This is what, you know, Ed Choice. And then to kind of go little bit more about, you know, Ed Choice, it's Robert Enlow. A lot of people, you know, like Robert Enlow. He is the president and CEO of Ed Choice. And I've also had the pleasure to meet with him, very humble. He was, I think he was there. Ed Choice was established in 2016 is when it was changing. He was part of the Milton and Rose Friedman Foundation. He was like their fundraiser, project coordinator. He was vice president, executive director. I mean, you name it, he was doing all of these. No wonder why he's the president and CEO. He's written numerous articles, op-eds, but he's also a dad. And to tell you the truth, when I meet a lot of these people, I always want to hear their story. I know a lot about, you know, their titles and what they job. But when I sat down and really got to know Robert Enlow, I got to hear about his son and what he went through as a dad. And this is the reason why he, you know, fights for this as well, because he thinks of everything he had to struggle with his own son. So it's awesome to hear the president and CEO of EdChoice that tells his story as well. We all have a story, but it's great to hear about with him. But he also attended Oxford University, and I'm trying to think, postgraduate degree in theology. He received his bachelor's degree from Seattle Pacific University. What else can I say about him? He's just awesome.
He's a servant leader. He has a servant leader heart.
You should see him on Twitter. You should see him on social media. He is on it. He's constantly on there, and I share a lot of his information, and he's just like another Corey Deangelis.
Yep. Robert and Los, amazing. So EdChoice will be speaking. And Robert will be speaking along with another employee of EdChoice at the Parent Leadership Conference. One of the things that we're doing this year is, and this is the title, and when I told Wendy, she was like, what is that? So what I wish I knew before becoming a learning coach. And it's a panel discussion from a bunch of different learning coaches. She was like, what's a learning coach? Is a learning coach somebody who teaches you how to learn? No. So if your child attends a full-time online school, then you as the parent or the guardian, whoever is home or helping facilitate the distance learning, you're the learning coach. You're not the teacher, right? Because they go to public schools and they have public school teachers. You're just distance learning or learning virtually, and there's an adult at home or in the evenings if you have a high school or something. And this is some experienced learning coaches that are going to help you know what to do. And watching that, even if your kid does not attend a full-time online school, if your child is distance learning or may end up distance learning, which we all may end up distance learning again. I know here in Texas, a lot of kids went back to school last week and this week, but who knows, we may all be doing this distance learning thing again. These people, the tips they're going to tell you work across the board. So it's good stuff. Check out the panel. And
our next one, the parent support for online learning. I hope that most of y'all had seen about this Facebook group. It is a group that you can join for free and no problem in answering. You just join, but it gives a lot of resources about, I can't just say online learning, because now I see that there's so many parents on this group that they've given so many different resources. You can post a question, and guess what? Somebody's going to help you answer that question. Like, hey, I'm looking for an online resource for this, or hey, I'm looking for a tutor. This is what this group is for. It was created together with two moms. Sounds familiar. Tilly Overham and Colleen Cook. Both of them created this group because they felt like they themselves wanted to share their resources, but also to bring people together to share their resources, right? It's they even have a parent mentorship program where if you need more, additional help or guidance, they have mentors that can help you go through all of this. And then these are parents that have had kids that went through virtual school or homeschool, that this is not new for them. And they're sharing all of this information with everyday parents that are just thrown into this distance learning and don't know where to start. So this is a great group to follow. You can find them on Facebook, called the Parent Support for Online Learning. Shea's actually one of the mentors.
I am a mentor. I was one of the founding mamas, where when they were coming up with this group, they're like, Shea, you've done this online and at-home teaching thing for a long time, because I'm old, I guess. So that's who they got at the very beginning, making sure that they really had some experienced people, so that when they got these new parents who are new to distance learning, new to online learning,
right,
kind of thrown into the fire, that we knew where the fire extinguishers were, and could help you, stop, drop, and roll, and kind of help put out the fire a little bit.
And they also have a show called The Parent Exchange. They do it once a week, so check it out. Tilly's the one that hosts the show. Sometimes Colleen will too, both moms. So yep. It's really good to follow them. And even if you're not going to watch the show, or if you, their shows are pre-recorded, you can watch them. They have really good topics, but it's a really good place to find some really good resources.
Yep. Amazing group. And so they will be also speaking at PLC about their group and some other things. And then one of our last, this is Colleen Cook. She's both of our dear friends. I've known Colleen for a little bit over 8 years now, and an amazing, powerful,
Humble
mama.
But she's a powerhouse.
She is a powerhouse. So she will be the beginning speaker, introducing the Parent Leadership Conference, because she is the president of the National Coalition for Public School Options. I'm a member of the national board, but she's the president of that organization. She will also do the wrap up last, hurrah.
Well, you can see how she's engaged. I mean, she's the president of the National Coalition of Public Schools. She's part of NPU. I mean, she does so much for National Parents Union. And then she's also the co-creator of the Facebook group that I just mentioned for parents support for online learning. So, I mean, what is she not doing? I don't see how she gets her day, because she's so busy, but she is a knowledgeable mom. She is one that shares and very humble and shares her knowledge and believes, and we need to fight more for education equality for our kids. We need to have, she does so much. She's a great person to know.
Yep. So check out Colleen and what she has to say. We are excited for this Parent Leadership Conference. There's nothing else like it. A lot of times with conferences, it's if you're an employee of an organization, then you go to conferences and learn about policy and advocacy and education. This is one of the very few conferences that are for parents, and being able to, blast across the world for parents to watch from across the world.
In the comfort of your own home.
Right. Awesome.
You don't have to worry about finding a babysitter for your kids. You don't have to, as long as you register, you can watch it at any time. So if you miss the 12 o'clock, guess what? You can watch it at 7 o'clock. And I think this is really great, because as we get so excited about all these leaders that we were talking about in education reform, it's a great opportunity for all of you to check out these leaders and listen to what, they're talking about, and knowing what's happening around the nation and even in your own state. Yeah. I think this is awesome that it's virtual, it's free, and it's for parents.
Amen. So we hope that you guys go in. The link to registers in the comments, so that you can go in and again for this free, really, once in a lifetime amazing event with Tim Tebow. Hello, come listen to Tim Tebow and many, many others that we did not talk about. We only have so much time. Right. But we wanted to make sure, and just register. It's like, well, I'm busy. Just register so you can at some point go in and watch. And if nothing else, write down the names of the people we spoke about and go follow them on Twitter and on Facebook. So you're just aware of what is happening in the world of educational reform and where it's going, and whether or not you agree with every part of it, and that's completely okay, because we're all individuals. So, and speak your voice and help these people who are kind of helping with the movement, let them know what your opinion is.
Yeah, so that's what they're here. The thing is about these particular leaders, they're parents also. Mm-hmm. And they listen. So if you have an opinion, if you have a question, reach out to them. They're happy to answer you. That's what I love about all of these leaders that we talked about. They're down to earth, and they're humble, and they're willing to lend their ear to you if you have a concern or even a simple question like, hey, can you tell me about Texas? Or, hey, can you tell me about Oklahoma? They're willing to give you that information. If they don't know, they'll connect you to somebody that will.
Yep. Yeah.
That's what I love about these leaders. They've done some awesome work. I hope you take the time to really look up the information. We will put some information in the comments about each of the names. But actually, if you register, you'll get to know all of them. So you can look them up. It'll have information. Shea, does it have information about each of the speakers?
Yep.
when they register, great. So there you go. You can go to their website, register, go check them out, read about each leader, and then try to figure out when you can watch it. And I hope you take a lot with you with all this information. It is really great. And I want to thank everybody here for watching My Child, My Voice, Parent Connection. We love to hear from you. If you have any questions or topics, ideas you'd like to share, please reach out to us. We'll have our contact information in the comment field. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy, sending good spirits from our house to yours. And thanks everybody for watching our show.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.
And watch our show on Thursday. Bye.